guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to start this video. I've been really wanting to do this video pretty much all week. I just haven't had the time due to school and having to do work as well. So I just pretty much just waited until I had some free time at the end of the week where I could actually sit down and record this video. So I shouldn't, but I am, but I really wanted to start a swords only account. I've been really wanting to do a swords only account. I've been watching a lot of swords only, bows only, spells only videos by Java the Cup. He's pretty much the one that started this challenge, and so I definitely recommend you check him out in the description below. I will definitely put him there. So I just was like, well, I think it's cool. There's a lot of sword users I actually really like that I wanted to actually start playing with, and just purely just only built sword users. In this particular situation, I did purchase a pretty cheap account that started out with Nilou. It did basically come with a full team that I could use for sword users, but I decided in order to make this fair that I would simply start out at, this account is at rank 10, so I would have Nilou, who is going to be my main DPS for now. I decided I was going to just use her on the team, and then when I reach rank 15, I can add another character of my choice that is a sword user. Then when I hit rank 20, so on and so forth. So I hit 15, can add a character, 20 can add a character, and then 25 I can add a character, and from that point on my team's completely built, and maybe so on and so forth I will choose to add another character. But so far right now I'm just going to play with Nilou until I hit 15, which is going to be pretty tough because Nilou is a Hydro user, and I feel like Hydro is kind of the least I don't know how to put it, but I feel like it's the least damage dealing versus like other elements like Pyro and Dendro and all that other stuff. But I also chose Nilou because for a long time I thought Nilou was extremely pretty. She reminded me of Ariel when she first came out, but she definitely isn't the best damage dealer out there, but she was one of the few 5 stars I didn't have, so I just decided to go with this. So again, I'm super excited to be starting this series. I also, on my YouTube community tab, I did mention that I also really wanted to do a bows only and a spells only, which I really shouldn't because I have enough accounts already, but I told myself that if I were to do that, then I would focus on each account every 2 weeks. So I would spend 2 weeks on swords only, I would spend 2 weeks on bows only, and then I would spend 2 weeks on spells only. That's mainly just to make sure that I don't get too far in one account and then my other accounts become behind. Obviously still going to be doing reroll series, and then my main 2 mains I would mainly will just check in every so often, just because again they're very high in AR, and I kind of don't really have anything to do on them right now, mainly just besides commissions and whatever events are open. So why don't we go ahead and get started. I haven't leveled up Nilou yet since I opened up this account. I mainly just put some artifacts on her that have her needed stats for the build that I'm going with her. I also put on a weapon for her that I haven't leveled up either, so I'm gonna go ahead and start out by just leveling her up to 20 so she doesn't get killed instantly, and level up her weapon. And then I think from that point on, you know, as typical, I want to do some exploration because, again, I've said in one of my videos before, one of the biggest things that you want to do is you want to start searching for animalculouses first so you can start maxing out your stamina, because the stamina bar when you start out is extremely small, and if you've been playing Genshin for a long time and have maxed out the stamina bar and a lot of regions, then you definitely are going to miss having a full stamina bar. Again, I did purchase this account, so it does have a small plethora of resources to my advantage. I wouldn't really recommend purchasing accounts unless you don't mind. For me, I don't mind because you can get them very cheap. They're not really that expensive depending on where you go. I've gotten, you know, an account or 2 for quite cheap, and it came with all the characters and stuff like that I wanted, and you know, it was nice to start out semi-fresh but with a character like a 5 star that I really wanted. Like for example, my bows only on there is Yelan and Tainari, and as well as a Goru. In terms of Nilou's ascension materials, luckily this account already came with these, so I don't have to travel to Sumeru for now. and then I can simply just buy these in the Stardust exchange. So I'm gonna wait on that. We obviously cannot do that until we hit rank 15, so as per usual, I'm going to just be pulling up the interactive map and looking around for animalculuses. This is just mainly just going to be chill gameplay, take you on a journey of simply just wishing for sword users. So one thing I would like to immediately address is that I know Furina is coming out soon. I believe she is going to come out in 4.2, and from what I heard, she is a sword user. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to wish for her, and that's mainly just because I don't know if I am going to have enough Primogems to wish for her. So I will probably determine that when her banner actually gets here. I have a little bit of time to save, which I say a little bit of time. I really only have about 2.5 weeks or so, just because I believe Risley's banner does end on November 7th, and then obviously 4.2 starts. So I'm not too sure if I want to wish for her yet. I completely walked past the waypoint I was supposed to go. So a weapons only challenge is where you take a weapon that's within Genshin and you simply only collect characters of that weapon or use characters of that weapon. For example, this is a swords only account, so I will purely only be playing and wishing for characters that are swords only. So that comes into play with wishing for Furina and whether or not I want to wish for her. I'm having mixed feelings about wishing for her just because it's not necessarily a character that I really want. I would honestly prefer to skip her banner, but you know, it always ends up being where the archons are actually extremely good, like Raiden, for example. Raiden is an amazing archon, Nahida as well, Zhongli. So far, all of the archons that have been released in Genshin have been extremely good and have gotten better over the years or over the versions. My rules for this challenge are obviously I'm only allowed to use sword users, so that includes like Kaya, Traveler, Nilou, and pretty much any other sword user. I can't use any other weapon on this account even if I have them. So if I were to, let's say, make a 10 pull with the standard pulls and I get a bow user, I am not allowed to use them and I can't level them up or anything like that. They're going to be completely unusable. Another goal I have set for myself is I really want to reach 50,000 Primogems, and that is mainly just because personal things, just because I want to do better about saving. I'm horrible at saving my Primogems, so that's why a lot of the accounts that I have, I try my very hardest to be free to play, which has done well so far, but if I spend money on this game, it's mainly on the accounts that I've already spent money on. Another goal of mine, along with gaining 50,000 Primogems, and this are completely free to play. It is possible to gain Primogems completely just by playing the game, by doing exploration, etc. is I really want to wish for Albedo. Now, I've said this before, I really want Albedo on another account of mine, but it's just no telling when he's going to come back. So in the meantime, I'm able to save Primogems while I wait for him, and I believe the next couple of banners are going to be like that, you know, Furina, the sword user, and then Claymore users. I think a polearm user who is a 4-star, which I am excited for her. I believe she's a polearm user if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously Lantern Rite is going to come in around January or February, and Zhao more than likely is going to get a rerun, and then more than likely we'll also have a double banner with somebody else, but the question is who. So I really would like to save my Primogems up for Albedo at some point whenever he decides to come back. Albedo is an amazing 5-star, and I always have a blast playing him on my main. I have him on there, but I would really like to see him on another account. Another purpose for a weapons only account is mainly just so I can get used to using characters I don't normally use. Now, I never wished for Nilou anywhere, so I just decided to pull for her. Again, she's not the best hydro damage dealer, especially compared to Yelan, which Yelan is also an amazing 5-star, and if you don't have her, you should wish for her at some point. I've wished for Yelan before on 2 accounts, but unfortunately I've lost the 50-50. But I'm sure Nilou can be built properly, and if proper care is taken for her, she can be a pretty decent damage dealer, especially with elemental reactions, etc. I believe I have Nilou's build set in my Notion, which I use Notion to track my Genshin builds and materials that I need for my characters in terms of weapons, talent materials, etc. So when I need to look back and see what I've gained, what I'm missing, and all that, that's where I go. And I have lists of characters that I am currently building, who I plan to build. I have a database where I write down all of the characters that I've gained over, my course of gameplay, and then I put whether or not I'm going to build them or if I'm in progress of building them. So it is going to be the same with this. I do it for every single account. It's pretty satisfying to look at. It's very aesthetic to me. I keep it pretty organized to make sure that I can follow through with what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure I more than likely will have designated days where I will farm for certain things, but we'll see when that time comes, considering that we're simply only starting out with Nilou at the moment. I should also mention that in addition to saving up to 50,000 Primo Gems, I'm not allowed to wish for pretty much anything until I reach that goal. So I kind of want to just work with what we have and see how far I can get in terms of my account. Now, in terms of farming for, let's say, ore and stuff like that, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I want to challenge myself to simply just, again, use only sword characters before I resort to, pulling out a claymore character. I really don't want to have to pull out a claymore character or anything, just because I feel like that's not really fair to the whole swords only. So mainly it's probably going to have to be utilizing plunge attacks and all that other good stuff. So really, I just want to collect as many free wishes, the blue fates, and gaining anything from that. I want to try and see if I can collect most, if not all, of the sword users in the game, which obviously Genshin will be adding more in the future. Now you can decide whether or not it's fair that I did purchase an account. I was thinking about starting from the beginning, but I really wanted to get a character that I've never played before. It's up to everyone's thoughts whether or not, again, if you think that's fair, but it's, it's your opinion, it's my opinion. I don't want to say I do what I want to do, but it's just kind of how I wanted to start this challenge. At the end of the day, I'm trying to make it a little bit more fair by only, adding one character per 5 adventure rank. On my roster of characters, I would really like to start out with, on my swords only account, I really want Albedo. I think Ayaka would also be really nice to have, just because at some point, I don't want to reveal the characters that I have pre-chosen in a team just yet, but I do know I can say that the next character is going to end up being a 5-star, because this was a double 5-star account. So I got a standard 5-star and I got a limited 5-star, which happened to be Nilou, but obviously I probably just kind of spoiled, but I won't say who it is. Just know that it is a sword user and it's between those two. So eventually you will see who that sword user is going to be, but I really would like to have Albedo on this account on some point, and Ayaka as well. As for where things are going to go with this account, like I said, my main goals are obviously to try and 100% Genshin, region by region, area by area, statue 7 by statue 7, gain 50,000 Primo Gems. And to add on why I want to try and save 50,000 Primo Gems is, let's just say a sword user that I really want decides to have a banner, and let's say I do end up gaining those 50,000 Primo Gems. If I were to lose the 50-50, I still have plenty of Primo Gems that I can use to try and get that character again. Because typically, I would say if you lose the 50-50 and then still have to make, let's just say you kind of get unlucky and still have to make another 85 pulls, I still have 200 wishes to go, because 50,000 primo gems I believe will get you around 300 wishes, so that's 200 wishes or hopefully less that I can spare to get a standard 5-star as well as the limited 5-star that I am pulling for. I also really just want to take my time on this account just like I do on every other account. This is mainly for fun. I really enjoy Genshin, and this is just something that I like to play in my free time. This is probably one of the games I play a lot in my free time. And I feel like for me, in my opinion, it's very hard for this game for me to get old because I have different accounts that I can test different things on. I would only say that I obviously, like anybody else, I do kind of get a little bit of a Genshin burnout, but typically what solves that for me is just kind of stepping back from the game for a little bit and just taking a break by playing something else, or just not touching it for a couple of days. Or if I do touch it, it's not mainly to do exploration, but more so just to actually it's more so to sign in, catch the whatever event is happening, and doing my daily commissions if I do feel like doing my daily commissions. I really shouldn't have started another account, but I can never resist with this game. I just like testing out different things and seeing how I can build this character, seeing if I can do better about saving. What I'm really excited about is saving primo gems. Thankfully, this account happened whilst the anniversary was happening, so I got kind of a little bit of a start of being able to start out with almost 4,000 primo gems. I believe I'm at 3,300, so that already is just a pretty good start, just because regardless of the fact that I can gain a lot of primo gems simply from exploring, already that's pushing me kind of, I wouldn't really know the percentage, but already we're just kind of hitting just the beginning of it. And it's just, and then on top of that, I have 8 separate pools that I can do. So if I wanted to go ahead and wish right now, which I'm not going to just because the banners right now are a spell user and a pole arm user, but say I did want to use my wishes right now because say the banner is actually a sword user, I could use those 8 separate pools first before I use my primo gems, since the anniversary event again is still happening, on top of the fact that I can get these last 5 wishes and save those. Again, I do have plans of mainly just using the blue wishes and then hoping I gain something from it, whether hopefully mainly again a sword user or even constellations for the sword users I already have. As I do with every account that I have, I do plan on trying to max out all exploration regions. I want to try and max out, all the trees in each location. I want to max out the ceilings. I want to max out pretty much everything that can contribute to 100% exploration. I'm not too sure about achievements. I'll try my best to get all the achievements, as well as I will be, pre-farming before I ascend. So what I mean by that is that I will spend a lot of time just gathering materials for my characters before I actually level them up. So then I don't have to worry about farming like at the last minute when I actually am ready to ascend my character. I think about it now, and I think I would rather stay true to swords only, and I won't pull out a claymore character to, farm, or it'll just kind of have to be either co-oping, or I just will have to again utilize plunge attacks. It's going to be a little bit harder when it comes to farming crystal ore, so we're just going to have to make the most of it by using whatever my team is, or just again using my surroundings and stuff like that in order to farm crystal ores, just because those tend to be a little bit harder to gain, and that's mainly just because it's a finer material, if that makes sense, just because it is a higher level of material. So what I mean by that is like crystal ores are 3-star materials, and they take a little bit more to actually break. Now, you definitely don't have to like these kinds of videos. I like these because they're simply just chill. I like to explore, I like to find everything that I can, I like to save, and I like to just try out new things with different accounts and see how I can build them, see how my progress comes up together once I finished, you know, exploring for the day and see what I've just done. Somebody out there might like this, somebody might not, and that's perfectly okay. There are plenty of other Genshin YouTubers that probably make more content that is more exciting than mine, on top of the fact that, you know, they may do the topic a lot better than I can. Like, I've seen plenty of other people that have done, you know, Java the Cup's idea of a weapons only challenge, and it may be bigger than mine, it might be less than mine, you know. I don't want to get too full in the head by saying like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to get popular or something like that. Whilst it is something that is quite common on YouTube, and if you do it right, can be popular, I don't want to get too full in the head on that kind of stuff, and I want to do this because this is what I enjoy doing, and because I like Genshin and want to challenge myself with new things every day. If you're watching this and you do have suggestions on what I can do to kind of up the ante on a swords only account, definitely leave them in the comments. I want to see what you guys come up with. I think for the most part right now it's mainly just only using sword users, trying to collect 50,000 primo gems, and maybe trying to collect every single sword user character there is in Genshin. Again, if I do go for furina, it probably will more than likely be on a rerun, since I believe when it comes to Archons, they get reruns a lot faster than other characters. So for example, Wriothesley, it might be a while before he comes back, but if Furina is as popular as the other Archons, then she definitely will see a rerun in the near future, probably in less than 6 months, I would assume. Just kind of like how Nahida came out and she already was getting another rerun, and it just felt like she had came out pretty much yesterday almost. I'm also really want to improve on the quality of my videos. I'm still learning properly how to edit my audio and stuff like that. I've gotten down in terms of editing my actual videos, but in terms of audio it can be a bit tricky. I don't have the best mic in the world, but I do want to make sure that it doesn't sound gross and it doesn't pick up too much background noise, etc. As I'm recording this, it'll probably be fixed in post-editing or edited in post-editing. I would like to kind of have a more pastelish, dreamier effect whenever it comes to Genshin, just because Genshin looks gorgeous already, but whenever it comes to just lighter effects applied to it, like I've seen in some Genshin videos, I actually really like that. I would like to apply that to my own videos. Hopefully, I'm still learning how to use Premiere Pro, which is the editing software that I use. I can eventually properly learn how to color grade and all that kind of stuff, since it is very different from Sony Vegas, which was the original program that I used to edit my videos. I also sometimes do worry about whether or not my content is actually entertaining. Now, I do appreciate whatever comments I have gotten that say that my voice is soothing, or that they are subscribing because they do like my content. Again, I don't really want this necessarily to be a full-time job right now, just because I do have a job and I do go to school, and so I record when I can, especially since I am not in a household by myself. So it's mainly just trying to find the right spot where I can record and simply just sit down and enjoy what I am playing. I also have been thinking about playing other games besides Sims and Genshin. A friend of mine actually suggested that I should play Minecraft, which I actually don't mind playing Minecraft. I've actually been wanting to play Minecraft for a very long time, and I just didn't have the PC that could properly run it. Now, since I have a better PC, I can actually run Minecraft and run shaders and stuff like that to make my game look nice. Since I am very big on modding my games, I remember I had just recently started playing Baldur's Gate, and I hadn't even really necessarily fully explored the game yet, and I was already beginning to mod it. So my game is pretty much modded with new faces and some clothing here and there and stuff like that, and I was super excited, and I really enjoy playing Baldur's Gate, so maybe I can bring Baldur's Gate to my channel one day. But the only thing about that is I do tend to sidetrack and try and 100% complete, which is why I enjoy Genshin so much. And in a way, there is replay value, but that replay value comes at the cost of creating a brand new account, or, you know, purchasing your account, however you want to gain said account. Because with 100%ing on Genshin, once you 100% it, that's pretty much it, and you can't 100% it again. So that's why it's unfortunate that once you start getting into higher ARs, you know, you can't necessarily really do too much in the game later on besides events or updates where you get Fremo gems, on top of only being able to again gain Primo gems simply just by doing the events, especially just by doing some scarce exploration, since there are chests in the world that do respawn even after you've gotten them, I think about a day or so later, and then just getting maybe an extra 2 primo gems. But in the beginning of the game, I feel like you have a lot more opportunities to gain primo gems because there's so much that still has yet to be explored and new things that you're just now finding out about the game. I also would like to gain more confidence in my videos. I feel like when I started out, I sounded a lot more nervous, and that's because it was my first time around. And it still is, obviously, but I feel like I'm slowly growing out of my shell when it comes to YouTube, just because I don't normally sit down and commentate what I am doing. So this is still all very, very new to me, but again, I don't want to treat this as some sort of full-time job. This is simply just a hobby right now, and if one day, if YouTube becomes a bigger priority because, you know, I'm growing my channel and stuff like that, then that would be great. But we haven't reached that stage yet, and right now I'm just enjoying it while I can. Like I said before, I really want to, on this channel, improve my editing, improve my audio editing, improve the content that I come out with. I don't want my content to be boring in any sort of way, but I'm just pretty much just doing what I would like to do on my channel. I don't really necessarily know how much of the footage I will cut out or how much I will show, but I still want to take you on this journey of swords only and just seeing what I can actually get. I think I was just thinking that maybe I could make a single wish on the limited banner, and that is just mainly because I did look at the pity and I could possibly get a 4-star and a single pull. I have to look back on the banner again because already I believe this current banner right now, the 4 stars are, if I go check, it is Official, Xingqiu, and Diona. Now, I would only really necessarily benefit from Xingqiu, but that is mainly just because he has really good constellations, and Xingqiu is always a good character to have on your team. I build Xingqiu a lot on my accounts, hence why on my reroll account I have made it a rule that I can't build the quote-unquote meta characters. So that's characters like Bennett, Xingqiu, Xiangling, with Xiangling being an exception, but I will obviously build Bennett and Xingqiu on here just because it is a swords only account and I want to build as many of these swords characters as I can. Now there may be times definitely where I will play this account off camera just because of the fact that it's just, there's only so much you can show that everybody has seen. I don't want my content to end up being the same of, hey, I'm going to 100% everything. The only difference is that this is swords only, or this is spells only, or this is my reroll account. So it's just going to be like, hey, I'm going to come back and be like, yeah, I reached rank 15 while, you know, I was off camera. I played some off camera, you know, so you don't get bogged down with boring content. Again, I don't want my content to end up being boring. I would really hate for that to happen, but I also want to encourage myself to release other types of content and videos and games. What I'm most excited about on this account, minus the fact that I really want to save my primo gems for future sword characters, cough cough Albedo, I really want Albedo, but it's just the fact that I won't have the advantage of being able to easily fight like enemies such as abyss mages, whopper flowers. Those tend to be very, very tough from time to time just because you need an element that can work well against abyss mage shields. So for example, like I think the next character that I'm going to add to here is more than likely going to be a pyro sword user, just because they can proc, you know, melt and vaporize, and that would work very well with Nilou. Eventually I would love to have a dendro sword user. I can't remember if there is a dendro sword user besides Traveler. I'm quite funny sometimes. I easily will forget the fact that, hey, we do have a dendro sword user. So if Alhaitham decides to come back, I would definitely love to wish for Alhaitham, just because I feel like he and Nilou would actually work quite well together, as well as maybe one of these times getting Kirara. She would actually be pretty decent to work with Nilou in terms of early game and stuff like that. And then eventually, again, if Alhaitham decides to make his comeback, then I would probably, let's say I have Kirara first, and then I get Alhaitham, I would more than likely replace Kirara with Alhaitham. Again, as I mentioned before with like the weapons only account, it's going to be nice to see the challenge it's going to pose with only being able to start out with one character, then two, then three, then four, and then as well as only having a specific weapon. I do see bows only beginning to pose a challenge already, and I haven't touched that account yet. And it's mainly just because bow users aren't necessarily my favorite weapon in Genshin, but there are a lot of good bow characters that I actually like Yelan for example, Tainari, and their constellations are extremely good, and overall they just have a good design, they actually do really good damage and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's just kind of like I have to use bow users, and bow users, again, it's one of those kind of weapons that necessarily don't always do as much damage as, let's say, a sword or claymore. If there are any topics that you would like me to talk about, don't forget to comment that in the comment section. I definitely feel like I talk too much sometimes, or I kind of talk about the same things from time to time, but it's just, again, I just want this to just be chill gameplay and stuff like that, where you can come and just talk about anything, or you ask me to talk about anything. Again, I really do enjoy Genshin, so this is just something that I enjoy doing, you know, even though most people would really just have multiple accounts for content, and it's kind of the same thing with this as well, where yes, I do have multiple accounts for content, but it's also just mainly because I enjoy playing the game. To finish off this video, since it is kind of getting a little long, I'm probably just going to offer the Animalculus that I've collected so far to the statue. It might go up 1, it might only go up 2, I'm not too sure, but we're gonna see. So we've collected 16 so far, so it possibly may end up going up at least 2 levels, I would assume. So yep, that's exactly what happened, and we got some adventure experience from that, so that's good. And then as well, again, to finish off the video, I'm gonna make probably a single wish on the limited banner, as well as what it looks like I have some adventure rank rewards that I can get. So I ended up making 2 wishes, since it took me 2 wishes to actually be able to get a 4-star, and thankfully we ended up getting a sacrificial sword. Now this is good for characters such as Bennett, Xingqiu, which depending on if we have them or not, we can use them on this account. I'm not going to say if we have them or if we do, but again, this sword is actually pretty good. Unfortunately, the current sword that I have on Nilou is actually better than the sacrificial sword, and even then there is another sword that I have in mind for her, which is the Iron Sting, which is actually going to work better than this sword, and then I can put this sword on somebody else that can actually use it, but I do not know who that will be, depending on the characters that we have on the account. With that being said, I really do hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and please do comment on what else you would like to see on my account, and I hope again you enjoyed watching this video and will come back to my channel to watch my other content. Bye!